Okay guys, we're starting our fuel efficiency run on this 2018 Ford Expedition. So I'm accelerating here in my typical run where I'm going to be driving exactly the speed limit with moderate acceleration. And there's very little traffic today, so I should get a nice clean run this morning. Speed limit here is 65 miles per hour. So I'm getting ready to set the cruise control at 65. There we go. We're in 10th gear. It's a beautiful day outside. It's about 25 degrees and there's no wind. So these are pretty good conditions to record this efficiency run. So as a reminder, this run here is flat for a decent percentage of the run, and then we do have a couple of good hills. So I think the hill that we go up is somewhere between 700 feet and maybe 800 feet in height, and typically vehicles that have these multi-speed transmissions, if they're an SUV, they're downshifting. So we'll see what happens this morning with this 10 speed on this 2018 Expedition Max. It may just downshift a gear or two. I've got the turbo gauge turned on here so we can monitor how much boost we're generating. And so right now we're at about 16.3 miles per gallon according to the computer, which I know is not 100% accurate, but you know, it's all we got for a run like this. So it works out pretty good. So we're on a little bit of a slight incline right now. Probably just maybe a 0.5%, maybe a 1% incline. And according to the trip computer, we're still ticking along here in the high teens for fuel mileage. So we're up to about 17.2 right now. And we just got cut off a little bit by that car. It's not impacting us too much because he is actually going a little bit faster than us. So we might have slowed down to 64 miles per hour right there. But that's okay, that doesn't impact us too much there. All right, we're back up to 65. And we're coming up on a little bit more of a hill. So this is the first part of the real challenge for these vehicles, is how do we generate attractive fuel mileage but yet deliver a good driving experience for the driver. Now, a few days ago I was driving a 2018 Chevy Suburban LT, and that vehicle has a 6-speed transmission. It's got a 5.3 liter pushrod V8, and it just was really pretty herky-jerky. Now, get back to the Expedition here real quick. We just went up a pretty decent incline, and it maintained 10th gear. So this is the steepest part of our run that we are going into, and let's see what happens. So we just started the steeper part of the run. We're holding on to 10th gear. We are generating some decent boost. Now it just downshifted to 8th gear. Pretty imperceptible inside the vehicle. We still got some decent boost that we're generating. Let's jump over to the instant miles per gallon. It looks like we're hovering right around 10. And as we come up to the crest of the hill, we're easily maintaining our speed. Miles per gallon has dropped to 15.7 from where I reset it about 4 miles ago. And now we're over the hill. We imperceptibly shifted back to 10th gear, and now we're pretty much just coasting down the hill here. So if we go back to the instant miles per gallon, on these Expeditions, it maxes out at 30. I'm sure we're, real life right around that 70, 80 miles per gallon as we're coasting down this hill. So let's see where we end up here. So this is downhill the rest of the way. We're getting near the end of the run. Probably just a couple miles to go, and we will be there. But you can see that the vehicle is adding to its efficiency quite a bit as we go down this hill. You know, we're currently at just about 18 miles per gallon already. I think we got a good shot at getting into the low 20s before we hit our point where we stop measuring this. Every car I rent, every car that I own, I like taking them on this run because I think it's a really good challenge for the vehicle to be able to have, you know, some decent flat driving, but the hills are, there's so many different ways these car manufacturers tackle efficiency. So, you know, back to that Suburban I was talking about a few minutes ago, it uses cylinder deactivation. So it goes from an 8-cylinder to a 4-cylinder, and in an attempt to generate better fuel efficiency. You can feel it as it shifts back and forth from 4-cylinder mode to 8-cylinder mode. But then when you combine a 4-cylinder to 8-cylinder shift along with a changing of the gears, you know, it's not a real smooth drivetrain. Although from an efficiency perspective, it does work pretty good considering the age of the technology. And fuel mileage, according to the EPA, is a little bit better actually in that vehicle than on the 2018 Expedition, that is really using about as modern technology as we have. We've got a 10-speed transmission in this vehicle. Other than the Lincoln, it's the only vehicle of its kind with a 10-speed transmission. Then it's also using a twin turbocharged 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine that we have running at the 375 horsepower. I've got just 87 octane fuel inside this vehicle. So, all right, we're getting close to the end here. About a third of a mile to go. We are at 20.4 miles per gallon. This vehicle is rated 21 miles per gallon on the highway. So this is where I turn off the cruise control. We just kind of coast in here like we normally would into the stoplight. And looks like we're going to be pretty close to 21. So pretty much on the dot for highway, and that is with a major hill. So this vehicle probably just on flat highway driving is going to get you somewhere around 22, maybe 23, assuming that you've got pretty flat terrain and you're running, you know, right around that 65, 70 miles per hour. So I'd say that's an A+ in my book for a vehicle of this size and this capability. You know, towing 9,000 pounds, can carry 8 passengers. It's a serious heavy-duty vehicle. They really upgraded it when they moved over to the 2018 and a complete redesign. So a pretty good run for the Ford Expedition there with a score of 21 miles per gallon.